How you going, guys? This is a presentation slash review of the game Paperbark. So, what you're looking at now is more or less my iPhone 7. I screen recorded the game straight after purchasing it on the App Store. So I'd never played the game before, so this is literally my first crack at it. So that might be interesting for some of you. Okay, so what you're looking at now is the sort of tutorial for the game. So it's sort of showing you how to clear the fog of war or the canvas, and that's how you sort of work out where you need to go. So you use your index finger or your thumb to clear away the white canvas, and then it shows the landscape, and that's how you work out where you need to go. So speaking of how you work out where you need to go, how do you play the game? So the game Paperbark was built specifically for an Apple iOS system, either an iPhone or an iPad. As I previously said, I've played the game on my iPhone 7. And you only really need to use your thumb or your index finger. You can use whatever finger you want, really, but it's easier just to use your index or your thumb. I use my index finger. So you use your finger to pretty much tap where you want your wombat to go, which is the main character, and that's how you navigate the world with that and clearing away the canvas and revealing where you need to go. So again, simply tapping where you'd like your wombat to move and interact with the environment is how you move, and that's how you play the game. So yes, there's the fog of war as here, and this is your main character, the wombat, who this is his initial home. He finds another home at the end of the game, which I'll reveal eventually. But as you can see, there's only a small radius around the wombat which shows where you are. The rest of it you have to clear yourself. Or items of interest, which is down here, but that's only for this section of the game, and then the rest is all up to you. So, what is the story? The story of Paperbark is that of a day in the life of a wombat, specifically this wombat, a native marsupial to Australia. The game begins in the Australian bush, as you can see, and presumably the outback, as the environment is largely devoid of any human characters. The wombat has emerged from its burrow and looks for food, which it's going to find in a second, right here, I believe. So the objective of the game is more or less to work your way through the environment to eat this food, which is just shrubbery, I'm guessing. You don't have to do it, but it's encouraged to eat the food, as there's a collectible system, which you'll see shortly. Aside from that, this is pretty much the objective of the game up until Chapter 4. There's 5 chapters. Chapter 4, there's a hazard scenario where there's a bushfire, and it's sort of your objective to escape that. Well, you don't want your main character to die, do you? So, again, here's some more food. But yes, you're pretty much just escaping a fire hazard in Chapter 4, and aside from that, that's the extent of the game. Just working your way through the environment and collecting food for your wombat. And then the game concludes when you eventually escape the fire and you seek refuge at a small house. But I don't want to reveal too much if you're interested in playing the game. So effectively, I believe the game is just a developer's interpretation of the life of a wombat over the course of a day. And I'll come back to that, but what you're seeing right now is an example of the collection system. You can just find random animals and plants, and then you add to this little collection box. So as I was saying, it's just the developer's interpretation of the life of a wombat over the course of a day and the dangers it encounters on its journey. There's really very little substance aside from what I've already explained and manoeuvring around the world. But honestly, what does one expect from an Australian wombat just looking for some tucker, eh? Does it work? Let's begin with the positives. The game itself is quite charming in the sense that it sets itself aside from other, conventional games. There's not many games like this. And it's very Australian, so if you're an Australian native, you can really relate with this game, and that's why I like it. The artwork and sound is brilliant. The game encourages you to wear headphones for the purpose of listening to the game's sound, which is amazing, so I definitely recommend getting the game purely for that. The game does encourage exploration, as there's the collectible item system, which is always nice to see in video games, in my opinion. However, from a negative point of view, the story itself is rather weak. I managed to complete the game in under half an hour, which is disappointing considering you had to pay about $6 Australian to buy the game. And additionally, there's very, very little replay value aside from the collection system and just finding things you missed before. Would I recommend the game? Yes, because it's different and you can relate to it as an Australian. But if you want a long game, this isn't the game for you. But definitely